country. And of course, we have in our menu today Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership, Daily Sun, THISDAY, The Punch, and of course, The Guardian. My name is Winifred Bebo, your host on the program. That's the first segment of the show. Let's just take newspaper headlines, starting with Leadership newspaper. Leadership newspaper leading story says insecurity, still on insecurity issues in the country. Probe terrorism financing now to Northern Elder CSOs tell Tinubu. Insecurity, probe terrorism financing now. Northern Elder CSOs tell Tinubu. Demand release of report on General Atahiru's death. Insist aircraft black box has details of killing. Army keeps mum on General Ali Kefi's allegation. The headline story today on Leadership. Above that, many fear killed in fresh plateau attacks. The story is on page 7 of Leadership. Many fear killed in fresh plateau attack. Leadership Award, a motivation to do more for people, Bochi MI. Of course, we have the picture on the cover of Leadership, the GMD Moazu Elazu at the Emir's Palace in Bochi yesterday when he presented letter of nomination as Social Impact Person of the Year to the Emir of Bochi, His Royal Highness Riwanu Suleimanu Adamu. Congratulations, Your Royal Highness. Above the masthead of Leadership, residents differ on planned review of Kano Emirates. We paid 55 million naira to free Al Qadiriya sisters family. We paid 55 million naira to free Al Qadiriya sisters family. Of course, this is coming in a recent development to what the police said that they rescued the Al Qadiriya sisters. But the family is insisting that no, they paid 55 million naira for their rescue. Still on Leadership, oil workers reject shares $2.4 billion asset sale. Poor power generation linked to gas supply hiccup. FCTA profiles kidnapping hotspots. And in sports, AFCON, Cameroon faced Nigeria in last 16 after beating Gambia 3-2. With that, we move to the page 3 of the paper where we have our stand, which is the equivalent of the paper. Our stand today is on the peril of one-party dominance in local government elections. The perils of one-party dominance in local government elections. And with that, we move to the back page of the paper where we have Wednesday column with Olufunke Barowa. She's writing on One Day, One Trouble. One Day, One Trouble is the Leadership newspaper. You can get more and continuation of headline stories as you log on to the website of Leadership, www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move to the next paper on our menu, the Daily Sun. Daily Sun's headline story is still on insecurity issue, this time around in Plateau State. It says, Plateau boys again, churches, shops, property raised. Governor Mutuan imposes 24-hour curfew on Mango over renewed killings. Turmoil in state APC. Sacked PDP lawmakers from resumption. As Anambra Governor Obiano for arraignment over 4.8 billion naira fraud. External debt servicing gulped $3.07 billion in 10 months, CBN. Who resist shares exit from Niger Delta without cleanup compensation, CEPEJ. Says Ogoni cleanup program failed project. Urges federal government to address compensation issue in region. INEC alerts of plans to disrupt by-elections by party supporters, candidates. Tinubu missiles at monarchs assures on completion of East-West Road. And the last story on Daily Sun today, that is the one beside the masthead, says kidnapping. IGP redeploys 54 ACPs to head intelligence units as police nab suspected gun runner with 202 rounds of ammunition in Kaduna. That brings us to the end of Daily Sun's review this Wednesday. For more, log on to the website. From Daily Sun, The Punch is next on our many Punch leading stories still on kidnapping epidemic. Kano, 9 others, more death sentence, life jail. Kidnapping epidemic. Kano, 9 others molded sentence life jail. And the riders, Kano, Benue, Anambra, others committed to death sentence for convicts of officials. IG orders intelligence gathering on abductors, kidnappers, landlords risk 20-year jail. Kidnappers, landlords risk 20-year jail. That's the headline story on the Punch. The Punch has been steadfast since last week on an epidemic in. And of course, the picture story, we have the picture of Blinken, the U.S. Secretary of State, meeting with Tinubu yesterday in Aso Villa. And the story for it says Blinken meets Tinubu pledges $45 million security fund for Nigeria. Others. Plateau Assembly side seats. Plateau Assembly sits as police tear gas sacked lawmakers. Businessman cries out over unlawful detention in Abuja. We haven't received senators' December salaries. Kaduna bombing victims. Which takes us to the stories above the masthead. Federal government to set 5 power plants for $1 billion. Naira depreciation pushes drug imports to 900 billion naira as Nigerians lambast Wike for downplaying abduction epidemic. These are the headline stories today on The Punch. For more, log on to the website of The Punch, www.punchng.com. From The Punch, we have THISDAY next on our menu. This is the stories on the U.S. Secretary of State's visit to Tinubu yesterday. And it says, at the electoral talks, Blinken says Tinubu's reforms are bold. At electoral talks, Blinken says Tinubu's reforms are bold. Discloses U.S. entrepreneurs eager to invest in Nigeria. Canvasses ease in capital repatriation. Because we have the picture, welcome to Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, right, welcoming United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken during Blinken's visit to Nigeria at the presidential villa Abuja yesterday. Above that, we have Wike will provide security agencies whatever will make FCT safe, secure. FCTA to profile Uber drivers, ban on painted taxes. And above that, CBN hinges monetary policy easing on reduced inflation. Above the masthead, Dume to Tinubu, there will be consequences for moving CBN department fund to Lagos. Says President being misled by ASU Rock Cartel. Those are the headline stories on THISDAY. For more, log on to the website of THISDAY, www.thisday.live.com. On THISDAY, we have The Guardian, which is the last paper on our menu. Guardian's leading story says 2025 broadband target dicey as 31 states remain undecided. 2025 broadband target dicey as 31 states remain undecided. That's the leading story or headline story on The Guardian. Beneath that, we have 12 in police named over NNPP APC supporters clash in Kano. Old corruption saboteurs hobble new regime at passport offices. Government generates 1.7 trillion naira in December, shares 1.1 trillion naira among federating entities. Mutwan declares 24-hour curfew in Mangu. Ijo use Penga Sunset for showdown over sale of shares onshore assets. Federal government hands over 700 megawatts Zungeru project to MESL may stabilize national grid. Blinken Tinubu hold bilateral talks on security, economic cooperation. Police move against self-kidnap, arrest suspects in Lagos Plateau, Abuja. Ogun Assembly impeaches Oluomo for alleged fraud. These are the headline stories on The Guardian. For more, log on to the website of The Guardian, www.guardian.ng. And from this Guardian, it brings us to a close of the first half of the segment Inside Nigeria. Don't forget, we have our second segment coming in with our virtual guest, our midweek guest, a triple cap holder, as I fondly call him, Jidojo. My name is Winnie Freddy. Stay tuned.
Leadership for God, country.
Leadership TV for God and country.
Good to have you on today's program. It's always a pleasure. Yes, I want us to start with the issue of insecurity because, yes, go on. Mm.
will have reduced minimally to the number of those who are engaging in kidnapping. Unfortunately, many of these kidnappers, when you see them, they look so lean, they look so emaciated and kwashokoi, that you wonder where the millions that they collect, where it goes. I mean, you cannot be a millionaire and be living inside bush. That means that the sponsors, the masterminds are living in town and living large and only pay these boys that they harmed some token just to keep body and soul together. And that's why kidnapping has become a very flourishing business in Nigeria, because these people who are engaging in it have largely been able to get away with it. And one other thing we need to do now is to strengthen our laws to stringently punish kidnapping. I recall that in Anambra State, I think it was former Governor Peter Obi or Willie Obiano, one of them, that
Yes.
sponsored an executive bill. And when that bill was passed, it says that anyone caught with kidnapping, the state will take over his estate and
Demolish
they
your
will
house.
demolish his
Yes.
property. They will demolish the house. And that brought down the incidence of kidnapping. Because what they do is that when they make this money, they start grandstanding, they start living large, they start, oppressing people all around. And when they now saw that the state government meant business and was destroying their property after the thorough investigation and found them culpable, as well as also jailing them, it brought down considerably the incidence of kidnapping in Anambra State and even in Southeast. So we need to tinker with our laws and ensure that there are more stringent, punishments meted out to those who are engaging in kidnapping. But that is not the only solution. There are other ways by which you can deal with this issue. I recall that before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu contested and won the 2023 presidential election, there was a town hall meeting or there was a forum where he talked about how to fight insecurity. That I think he had a freedom where he said 50 million people should be recruited into the security forces. And people said, where will you get money to pay for 50 million? And later, I think he amended that to say maybe 5 million or 500,000. As we speak today, there is a lot of ungoverned spaces in and around this country, Nigeria. A lot. You can imagine that when some weekend had town hall meetings with traditional rulers and local government chairpersons, it came out very strongly that in many of the FCT police stations, they only have one operational vehicle or none. I listened to the one where they say in Gwagwalada that the divisional police office in Gwagwalada had only one operational vehicle. And that is a very large expanse of land where, a lot of commercial activities takes place. So unless you are able to bring down, to improve the number of recruits, increase exponentially number of men and women that are recruited into the military and police forces, and train them adequately, arm them responsibly, and ensure that their welfare are not tinkered with. That is where you start to see significant improvement. You cannot have a very big community with just a police post or police station with just, how do you want them to perform? How do you want them to perform? It was only just this week that we learned that according to Yeson Wike, they have rushed to meet with the president to approve procurement for some technological devices that they will use to fight crime. Should it take this kidnapping epidemic for us to know that the latest technology to fight this crime is procured? After all, we have removed fuel subsidy. When we remove fuel subsidy, we said we have made, in fact, I think I read somewhere where they said they have saved about 11 trillion since the removal of subsidy. So if they have saved so much, why can't we spend, even if it's 2 or 3 trillion, to fund our military and police operations across the country? Get the latest technology, train them, get forensic laboratory, and make sure that the welfare of those who are involved in the fight against criminality are paramount. Otherwise, they can go rogue. Above everything, Winifred, we also must provide jobs for the teeming Nigerian youths who
Yes.
are loafing around, who has no job, who has no hope, who cannot even jackpot. They want to jackpot, they are denied visa. Some of them have attempted and have got their fingers burned. So they are just waking up daily and playing Ludo and playing local games when they should be productively
And
engaged.
also taking
And
all manner
that's,
of drugs too.
yes, of course, the idle hand is devil's workshop. You know that without me saying it. The idle mind is the devil's workshop. How do you kill boredom? When these people, some of them, many of them actually graduates of tertiary institutions, they
Yes.
even teaching job, many of them could not get. There is a ban on recruitment into civil service in many states. And when you produce an average of 60,000, is it 60 or 100,000 graduates every year, and you are not having them absorbed into productive job that they can use to fend for themselves and their immediate family, you are asking for trouble, because you know when a man is down, he fears no fall. Many of those who took to criminality do that as a last resort. They are hopeless, they are helpless, and they know that, well, even if you want to kill me, but I will try and make some money on my own. That's why you see a lot of these youth who are taken into scamming, who are taken into internet fraud, who are taken into banditry, who are taken into abduction, who are taken into drug peddling, who are taken into human trafficking, who are taken into arms smuggling. You know, now we have a very huge problem of small and medium arms proliferation in and around this country. All these years, federal government have been talking about securing our borders, but they have not succeeded. We have, on the average, 1,400 illegal entry routes into and outside of Nigeria. And this illegal entry routes, which is known to the Nigerian Immigration Service, are unmanned. Only about 68 Nigerian border posts are manned out of 1,500 or thereabout. So you have a scenario where smugglers can easily bring in drugs, easily bring in small arms and light weapons, easily bring in and take out, human beings under the guise of human trafficking. So these are top of my head some of the challenges and solutions. We need to protect our international boundaries. We need, even if we cannot build wall across all our borders, like Donald Trump tried to do against Mexican border, we can at least divide, procure technological devices that can help us to digitally and virtually monitor what is going on around our borders, and then interdiction can take place. But situations where our borders are porous, I reliably learned from former Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, that he once visited a community in Ogun State where the palace of the traditional ruler, the front of it is in Nigeria, the back of it is in Benin Republic. The palace of the traditional ruler of that community. When you sit in the front, you are in Nigeria. When you go to the back, you are in Benin Republic. And that's why artificial borders. So you have a scenario on your hand where there is porous international boundaries, there is shortage of manpower, to police our ungoverned spaces, and the police are not well equipped. I mean, these are just open secrets. Even the last time the House of Reps invited the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to say, oh, this issue of banditry, how are you going to raise it? He said, look, you can't make an omelette without breaking an egg. That the police is underfunded, understaffed, and there's practically nothing they can do. All this initial gra that they do, after 2 weeks, you see that everything will quiet in there. Even the Abuja Kaduna road that we thought has been firmly secured, you could see the number of
The
abductions that
bandits
have
came back
taken place
again.
along that road when the bandits come back.
Exactly.
So
Now,
it has
did
to be had as software solution.
all right. Did I want to take you back again on this terrorism financing? The General Lee Kefi's Kefi did make strong and weighty allegations concerning terrorism financing with collaboration with some military men. And besides that, he also said something about the death of the former chief of army staff, the late army chief, as fondly called. And up till now, the military has not responded to it. But of course, they say that the letter, his petition was written to President Bola Tinubu, so they are not expected to say. These are worthy allegations, as you know, you agree with me, and nothing and no response has been made so far to these allegations. What is happening? Don't forget that during President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, he also did raise the alarm that members of Boko Haram had infiltrated his government. Same with President Muhammadu Buhari, and now coming from General Ali Kefi. What do you have to say?
There's nothing to say more than what the general has said. And again, it's a common knowledge that there are fifth columnists within the Nigerian army and Nigerian police who work in cahoots with some of these criminal elements. Let me take your mind back to the 80s.
Yes.
You are from Edo State. Remember the story of Lawrence Anini. Lawrence Anini was said to be invincible. He's very powerful. He has a lot of charms. He can disappear. There was a lot of myth built around the person
Yes,
of
bit
Lawrence
around
Anini.
it.
He held the Edo State and indeed Nigeria to jugular. But the former Inspector General of Police, the then President Ibrahim Babangida, military president Ibrahim Babangida, called Etimiya, the then Inspector General of Police, and said, my friend, where is Lawrence Anini? And he gave him timeline. And believe you me, within 2 weeks, Lawrence Anini was captured alive. And what happened? It was discovered that there is an ASP, Iyamu, I think it's Iyamu, who was actually giving him information about when the police are going to come to raid him and all of that. And that was why the man appeared so invincible. So it wasn't as a result of charms. He was paying Yamu so well that everything they want to do, Yamu would have told Lawrence Anini about the coming of the police, and he would disappear. So people thought he had a lot of spiritual powers. So what am I saying? It's a common knowledge that there are fifth columnists within the security forces. And unless you weed them out, you may not see the end of this insurgency and banditry and even kidnapping. Because, like I said, there are very powerful Nigerians who are involved, who have seen this kidnapping as a flourishing business.
Yes.
And they are well connected. They are very well connected. I mean, look at all the people that you have seen paraded for committing those criminal acts.
Yes.
When they are paraded, they look scangy, they look underfed, they look so harmless, they look so malnourished. And you ask, oh, Are these people the one that they said they pay 100 million naira to 130 million, 50 million? How would you have that kind of money and you decide to stay inside bush? It means that some people are collecting on behalf of those boys, and when they receive call from their boss to release a particular person, the person gets released. Recall the sisters that were said to have been abducted and released a couple of days back. While the military and the police is telling us they were rescued, those girls are saying that they paid ransom of 100 million.
Yes, that's
100
exactly
million
what
naira ransom.
leadership also carried and
So
discovered.
look at the case of the train abductees, those who were abducted in
Yes,
2022
yes,
during the train disaster in Kaduna. The bandits collected average of 100 million from each of the abductees.
yes.
Now, after they have secured the release of all of the abductees, can't the police and the military work together to track and apprehend those who perpetrated that heinous crime?